Right now, something inside your head is choosing what to remember, who to trust, and what to buy, and it's making those calls before the logical part of your brain even gets a vote. Today, we're exposing 5 of its favorite tricks, hiding in your memory, your empathy, and your everyday decisions. By the end, you won't be able to unnotice them. Picture a long list of names on a page, all in the same plain black font. Then one name is printed in bright red. A week later, you can't remember most of that list, but you remember the red one instantly. That's the von Restorff effect, also called the isolation effect. When one item looks different from everything surrounding it, your memory grabs onto it and lets the rest fade into the background. Your brain isn't built to store everything equally. It's built to notice contrast. Something that breaks the pattern gets flagged as important automatically, while identical, repetitive items barely register at all. Sameness is invisible. Difference is unforgettable. This is why one bold headline, one red button, one different colored slide stands out from 100 identical ones. It's not random design taste. It's your memory being deliberately hijacked. And it's not the only way your memory gets tricked. The next one hides in the difference between reading something and seeing it. You read an entire article yesterday and can't recall a single sentence of it today. But a strange photo you scrolled past 3 years ago, you could describe it in detail right now. That's the picture superiority effect. Images get lodged into long-term memory far more effectively than plain text ever does, even when you spend way less time looking at them. Words get stored one way as language. A picture gets stored twice, as an image and as a concept, which gives your brain 2 separate paths back to the memory instead of one. More paths in means more paths out later. That's why the stories that actually stick with you are the ones that hand you a mental picture, not just a list of facts. And that mental picture gets even more powerful when it has a face attached to it, which leads straight into the next one. A charity shows you a photo of one specific child, with a name, a smile, a birthday. Another campaign tells you 3 million children are suffering right now. Which one actually makes you reach for your wallet? Almost always, it's the one child. That's the identifiable victim effect. A single-named, visible person moves people more than a massive abstract number ever will, even when that number represents far more real suffering. Your brain simply isn't wired to feel a statistic. 3 million is just a shape on a page. But one face, one name, one story activates the actual empathy machinery, the part of you that responds to a person, not a percentage. This is used everywhere, from fundraising to politics to advertising. One story beats a mountain of data almost every time. And that same instinct to just go with what's already in front of you shows up somewhere you'd never expect, in the boxes you never bother to uncheck. You sign up for a free trial. There's a small pre-checked box for the newsletter. You don't touch it. 3 months later, you're still getting emails from a company you barely remember choosing. That's the default effect. Whatever option is already selected for you becomes the option most people end up sticking with, even when changing it takes about 2 seconds. Changing a default takes effort and an active decision, and your brain treats effort as a cost it would rather avoid. On top of that, a preset option quietly feels like the recommended one, like someone already decided it was fine. This one insight quietly runs entire systems, retirement savings plans, organ donation rates, subscription services, all shaped by what's set as the starting point. And underneath every one of these 5 effects is one final trick, the one that decides almost everything else first. You meet someone new, and within about 2 seconds before they've said more than a sentence, you've already decided whether you like them. Everything you learn about them afterward just gets filtered through that first snap judgment. That's the effect heuristic. You make the actual decision based on how something feels first, and only afterward you build the logical sounding reasons to justify it. Emotion moves faster than reasoning, so the feeling always arrives first and quietly decides which facts you're willing to notice or accept. Your logic isn't the judge in this process. It's more like a lawyer, hired after the verdict's already been reached. So before you trust a decision you feel confident about, it's worth asking an uncomfortable question. Did I actually reason my way here? Or did I just feel my way here first and call it reasoning? That one question underlies literally everything you just watched. 5 ways your mind quietly runs the show. The von Restorff Effect, the picture superiority effect, the identifiable victim effect, the default effect, and the effect heuristic. None of them mean you're broken or gullible. They mean you're human, running on the same wiring everyone else has. If this helped you catch your own brain in the act, subscribe. A new psychology breakdown drops here every day.